Yes, I'm here. Okay. I was trying to fix Blue's camera, right? Or not Blue. Yeah, Blue's camera, but it didn't take. So hold on a second. Okay, there we go. Although Blue's not in the bed, so. How's it going, everybody? Let me see if I can fix that chat thing, too. For some reason, that's not working either. There it is. Okay, let's see if that kicked it back into gear. I don't know. Who knows? How's it going, everybody? I got some new emoticons in there, and they were some of them were, you know, two of them were from hold on, Tammy, but I actually changed up the Chris Watts, no Chris Watts symbol there, and now we've also got Dennis Radar and Ted Bundy. Okay, she gave me the Ted Bundy one as well. I chose Dennis Radar. Alright, there you go. And then I think we were able to add an extra one because of all the... Oh yeah, and there's also... I don't know what that woman is supposed to be like, oh no, or something, but it's too hard to make out, so I'll probably change that one up too at some point. I'll change it to something else. Yeah, thanks everybody for becoming members. I appreciate it. If you have an iPhone and you haven't been able to do it in the past, you can. There's a link in the description to do it. It goes right to the join button. I don't know what the deal is with YouTube, but they haven't fixed that yet. Even though I brought it to their attention, they said, "Oh wow, we'll take a look at it." Well, it's still an issue. Yeah, but I first wanted to say that, you know, I don't know if you guys watched last night, but, or was it the night before? I can't remember now, but where there was the breaking news in the Broussard case. And it was cool. I mean, I'll admit on J for Justice channel, they actually had a moment where the friends all realized and then figured out that, oh, wow, that was one of her friends, okay? And that's cool and everything. If you hadn't have started the show off for 3 hours, absolutely destroying the fiancé into oblivion. I mean, you guys attacked and attacked and attacked and attacked the fiancé over and over and over again. And then breaking news came in, and then wow, everything changed. Okay, and what's really weird. So it would be cool to have that kind of recognition because, I mean, it was literally on Fox News. Dana Perino brought it up. And, I mean, that's cool. I mean, it'd be great to have that. But they're reporting it incorrectly. They're saying that she broke the case on that podcast, they call it. It's not a podcast. It's just a true crime YouTube show, okay? You don't call, like, a Fox News episode, you don't call it a podcast, okay? So the thing is nobody solved anything on there. They were the first ones to break it to the public, right? Like, wow, there's a connection here. That was a friend. But the police already knew that, okay? Do you guys understand that? Like, Tim Miller had already talked to Megan for like a day or two and thought she was like, wow, how come she knows? She's really destroying. After talking to her, he also was even thinking that the boyfriend may have had something to do with it. Okay, but law enforcement already knew that she lived there and everything. So all it really did was it broke it to the public. But everybody in the media is and even on one of her video titles, it says, we broke the case. Really? Did law enforcement ever call you up and say, wow, thanks for breaking the case. We had no idea that she was a friend, okay? So that's garbage. But the whole, that was a really interesting moment to listen to. So I will say that. I'm not going to say that that wasn't interesting, because it was, you know, when you listen to it again, it was pretty cool how they, what was weird is I don't really understand how the girl that was on there, why she looked up if there was a registry at that property. I didn't really understand that part. But regardless of that, the family members and everybody hate the way that show went, because they just sat there and attacked and attacked and attacked Shane over and over again. Just had no mercy on him for hours. And then, but for the break in the case, did they stop doing it? Okay? So that's the reality of it, everybody. But you guys can all go, if you want to say, oh, Gray, you're just jealous. Yeah, I mean, sure, everybody wishes that they had something that they did that got out there like that. But it has nothing to do with what I'm saying right now. I'm just telling you that I thought it was disgusting the way they were at the beginning of that show. It's absolutely not true crime at all to go in there and just call somebody guilty for hours and hours and hours and hours, implying that he's guilty, and then just change it right up. Okay? I hope other people see that same thing. Okay? We try to be factual on this channel and go with it. Okay? You go with the facts, and what they lead you to is what they lead you to. Sometimes it points squarely at somebody and it's almost obvious. But if it's not obvious, you don't ever do the accusing. Oh, he did it for sure. Did you see the way he blinked with his left eye? Okay. So that's what I have to say about that. I think it's absolutely shitty how they treated Shane Pryor. Unbelievable, really. Okay? I mean, it's just... It was weird. It was like a hit piece show. I don't know, man. I hope you guys, people see that same thing, but instead they don't. You know, the problem is like if it was me, and I don't know, I'd be ashamed to actually do a show like that, bashing, and then a minute later realize, wow, I was wrong the whole time. But yeah, let's all take credit for this whole thing. You know, it would be weird, a weird feeling for me. Anyways, what do you guys think of the Dennis Radar one's really easy to see. Bundy's a little harder, but, you know, it's pretty obvious that's Bundy. And then no Chris Watts. Yeah, no, I think it's great that the baby was found alive. Yeah, police were all over that. They already knew before the breaking news hit. You know, that's the funny thing is it's like they were there because that's who they thought may have done it. Yeah. You sort of wonder if the CPS call is what actually led to... You know, they had her address, and then somebody called CPS, and then they went, wait a minute, that address is the same one as Megan. And then they went over there, and boom. They already knew the whole thing. And I'm sure they had talked to friends that said, oh, she was pregnant. She told everybody she was pregnant. She posted it on social media and all that stuff. So yes, it was broken to the public, the relationship, but it didn't break anything in the case whatsoever as far as law enforcement goes. Okay? All right. Let's see. What are we looking at now? Oh yeah, by the way, not even by the way. There's a huge update in the Adrian Quintal case, by the way, as I say again. She was actually, they found her body. So I wonder what the findings are going to be. The search for Adrian Quintal ended Saturday after nearly 10 weeks of searching. And remember, she's the one that was in her cabin. Her boyfriend had left to go back to town to help, I think, do some remodeling of a condo or something in town. I don't really remember that part specifically, but then she stayed out there, and then one night she called a friend and said, oh my God, there's somebody outside there. They're trying to shoot at me, and I shot one in the head or something. And when the police got out there, they found that there were only shots from inside to the outside. there was no shots coming in, so then they thought, well, what the hell? There was nobody really shooting at her. They couldn't find any evidence that anybody shot to her or at her. And then they found, I think it was her phone and the gun that she had that had all spent bullets in it. And was it maybe a wallet? I can't remember exactly, but it was on the roof, and then it all... the cell phone was on the roof, but the gun had slid off the roof and was on the ground below. That's right, and the shoes were on the roof. Thanks, Shogun. Yeah, and then she just sort of disappeared into thin air, and they looked all around for her. The family members think that she had some sort of a mental breakdown, and she actually was shooting at herself, because when it's pitch black outside and it's light inside of a house, you look at a window and you see a person, and there's actually bullet holes in the window, and there's even one up in the ceiling, which is strange. So a lot of people think it was psychological. I still want to see what the autopsy shows. Oh, see, look at that. She was submerged in about 3 feet of water. And if you remember, that is pretty much... Let's see if we can go to that really quick. Yeah. Alright, that's right. We put that overlay on there for the grid search. Remember that? So this is actually a map of the grid search that we did an overlay with. Let me see if I can hide that. Yeah, so there's the grid overlay. Wish they'd said what zone she was found in. But if you look back behind the house here, because this is where her house is, and there's this wooded area, but there's this big swampy area back there. That's not a swamp there, but let's see. Oh, that's right. It was over there. There's a lake right there. And where the hell is that swampy area that we were looking at? Can't really see it now. Let me take a look at the different months of the year and see if we can see that again. Can't see it. Yeah. But anyways, this is where the shooting happened from inside of her house, and then she just disappeared. And it seems like, I think maybe this was it right in here we were looking at, but that was pretty swampy looking. But you do look, there's this huge lake right here, which is actually the other direction, just going across the road and then this way. Let me see if I can get more information on that. But how's everybody going, by the way? Or how's everybody doing? I guess is better phraseology. I think they're just assuming it's hers body. Okay. Adrian Quintal, 47, who had been missing for more than 2 months, has been found dead. Her family has been sending updates through Facebook account and announced the news Saturday. It was not immediately known where or when Quintal was located. The Southfield woman was last heard from October 17th. I would do anything to find my sister. And I think the sister is the one that we borrowed the interview from John Lorden. He did a long interview and he said I could play it too. I would do anything to find my sister. I just desperately want to know that she's okay. It was also reported Quintal was involved in a shootout with 2 men at the cabin up north. Quintal called a family friend for help, telling them that she shot one man in the face. But see, none of that actually happened. There was no shootout. There was no bullets going into the building, and there's no evidence of blood or anything. So the family just thinks she had an episode, a mental breakdown, and that's sort of starting to sound a little bit more likely, but we still have to see what the autopsy report says. If they come back with homicide, boy, this thing gets really crazy really fast. Right? Okay, so here, let's go into the cases in South Dakota. Open up that folder really quick. Okay, there it is. Man, my glasses are all... I took a shower a few minutes ago and steamed up the glasses. Yeah, hopefully. I'm just reading some comments really quick. Okay, so we're gonna go back and we're gonna do some South Dakota cold cases. There's a bunch of them in that state, but I just kind of picked a few randomly. So this first one hardly had anything on it, so I just thought I'd bring it up because I don't think anybody's really ever going to talk about it, and might as well talk about it. So, city youth found shot to death. Raymond Rosales, 16, was found dead in the driveway of a residence in the 100 block of Anamosa at about 7 a.m. Sunday in Rapid City. So let's go there. Rapid City, South Dakota, USA. Not that there's a South Dakota, England. Alright, let's see. So there we are, we're in Rapid City. And it said, in the driveway of a residence in the 100 block of Anamosa. So, Anamosa Street. Okay, then I'll put 100. Okay, so right around in this area. So if it's a driveway off the street, I would think it might be this one right here. Because, or, you know, it could be this one or this one, right? There's no driveways going into these homes. That means they're on this street. This driveway, let's see where 200 is just to gauge it. Okay, so that's 200, and then 100 was right around in that area. So I guess could be any one of these right in here. So I'll just put a pin that he was found in the driveway. Maybe we can narrow that down better, but hold on. Actually, I have a main folder for all of the states. Yeah, John Lorden interviewed the sister, yeah. I just mentioned that a minute ago. Alright, let me put a South Dakota in there. And then make another subfolder called Raymond Rosales. And that's May 1st, 1977. Okay. Now we'll put a pin here, and this is about where his body was found, right in here. Okay. Raymond Rosales, 16, was found dead in the driveway of a residence in the 100 block of Anamosa at about 7 a.m. Sunday in Rapid City. Rosales from 1120. Let's see where he lives here. So he lives at 1120 Wembley Street. I wonder if that's still there. Did I spell that right? No, just an I. Okay. So apparently that house right there. Let's see what it looks like on the ground. Hopefully there's a, yep, street view. Yeah, this doesn't seem like that was there in 1977. Don't those look newer than that? I mean, this whole cul-de-sac thing looks newer. You know what we should do is go up in the air. Let's see what happens if you go onto historical street view or just satellite imagery. Well, it's 98. It's there in 98. So I guess maybe. Man, look at all those green names. All right. So Rosales, 1120, Wembley, apparently died from a single gunshot around a wound in his abdomen. Oh man, that's a horrible way to die. From a single gunshot wound in the abdomen from a small caliber weapon, according to Pennington County Sheriff's Mel Larson. The youth had apparently been dead only a few hours when a citizen discovered the body, officials said. Investigators from the Rapid City Police Department and Sheriff's Office had not yet determined on Monday if the shooting took place where the body was found and would not speculate on whether the death was a murder, accident, or suicide. No suspects were in custody on Monday. So that was from May 2nd. And I'm telling you, there's just so little that was ever even in the paper. Youth shooting death under investigation. A Rapid City youth was found shot to death. Pennington County and Rapid City authorities are investigating the death of Raymond Rosales, 16. Police said the youth may not have been shot at the spot where he was found. Okay. So there wasn't enough blood. And I was actually thinking that a minute ago when I was just thinking about it, because if you get shot in the stomach, it's very painful and you're going to be yelling and you don't die immediately. So the fact that nobody found him for hours makes it seem like he was just dumped on the side of the road at some point in a driveway. And it was found at 7 a.m. on a Sunday. So if he'd been shot at 7 a.m., he'd be screaming and yelling, right? I picture something like Saturday night, because this is 7 a.m. Sunday. Saturday night, they're out, doing whatever you're doing with the kids do. And he gets shot, like, let's say, 3 in the morning. He's writhing around in pain. Then they drive him and dump him. Well, it could have even been like 2 in the morning, and he was dumped dead in a driveway. So, then you go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then all of a sudden somebody wakes up at around 7 and notices the body in the driveway. Yeah, nobody's going to shoot themselves in the stomach. And it's obviously not a suicide because they didn't find a gun. If they'd found a gun sitting there, they might consider it for a moment. All right, and this is it on it right here. The shooting death of Raymond Rosales. Rosales was found dead due to a single gunshot wound the morning of May 1st in the 100 block of Anamosa. Hey, thank you, Kaz Casa Marine Curios. Yeah, well, I think it's actually fun to look into cases. I mean, they're sad, but it's, you know, interesting, and things that are interesting are fun. You know? I mean, I don't have a smile on my face when I'm doing it, but... Did you hear Gray? He said it was fun. Yeah. Despite an intensive search of the area, investigators have been unable to find the bullet which passed through Rosales' body and have not determined where the shooting took place. The death is being investigated by Pennington County. I mean, the thing is, this is just cold. And there's no other articles I couldn't find at all on it. Let's see if there's anything on Google about this. So let's see. Let's see if we can find Raymond Rosales murder. Anything at all. Okay. Oh boy. What's this one? Do I have to turn off the... no, I've never heard of it. Okay. That's it too. Look at Rosales 16 was found lying face down in the driveway of a residence in the 100 block. He died from a .22 caliber gunshot to the right side of his body. A spent .22 caliber shell casing was found in the street. Well, that's interesting, because that would sort of make you think he was shot there. In the street next to the residence. There has been speculation that Rosales was being chased and was trying to hide from someone when he was killed. That's a little different. Well, let's see. Here's something right here. Ah. Let's check this one out. Unless this isn't the right one. Is this the wrong case? Or no, it's Michael Rosales. Different case. Yeah, isn't that sad? There's so little information on that one. Absolutely nothing. So that's it. But if anybody knows anything about Raymond Rosales out there, he was 16 years old and he was shot in South Dakota on the 100 block of Anamosa. Let's see. Well, maybe there was I don't even think there was contact information. Let me go back to a different article. Yeah. I mean, wouldn't you think that they would put down at the bottom, if you have any information, call... Although, those numbers probably wouldn't be good anymore. So call law enforcement in Rapid City, South Dakota, if you have any clue about that case. All right. All right. Now we're going to move on to another one. This one is a case of Jolene Hass, or Haas. It's pretty weird. Kind of reminds you, what was that show? Is it 21 Jump Street? Something like that, where Johnny Depp was like a undercover narcotics person. Yeah, well, I think this has something to do with that. All right, Jolene Hass, shoot, I guess. I'm not sure what this middle name, maybe she was married or something like that, was found murdered in apartment 51 of the, so we can go get that put in there. Apartment 51 of the Delroy Motel. Okay, let's see if we can find that. So we'll go 3737 Sturgis Road. Yeah, Rapid City. Yeah. Oh, whoa. Hold on a second. Chloe turned on a stuffed animal somehow. Hold on a second. You guys hear that? Jesus. That was hilarious. Hey, thanks, Crystal, a.k.a. Beaver Gaming sub. Crystal. Yeah, I mean, it was so weird. She grabbed a toy and actually turned it on somehow. How she did that, I'll have no idea. Yeah, Cairo probably won't be here for a while because he's out practicing with his drone. He's flying it over and over and over again. It is pretty fun when you first get it because you get to see stuff where you normally don't get to see. Oh, I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him yet, but I'll admit I haven't been looking at the chat that much. Yeah, well, it kind of freaked her out when she turned that on. Oh, sorry to hear that, Lisa Holland. So when I typed in that address, it goes to a place called A Family Inn. So this is where it used to be called something else, obviously. Okay, this is where her body was discovered. I think it was shot, if I remember right. But anyways, she was found murdered in apartment 51 of the Delroy Motel at 3737 Sturgis Road around 10 p.m. on Monday, which would be the what day is this? So it would have been on the 10th of November. And let's see, she was found Monday by a friend who was looking for her. Clock said that the woman had lived in Rapid City for about a year and had worked at various waitress jobs in the city. Exact cause of death had not yet been determined Tuesday morning. The clock said that the woman had been both strangled and stabbed. Okay, so it was strangled and stabbed, not shot. The exact time of death also has not yet been determined, but the woman had been dead less than 24 hours when she was found, according to officials. No arrest had yet been made Tuesday, and the Pennington County Sheriff's Office would not say if any suspects were in custody. Although the rope with which the woman was strangled was still around her neck. Wow. Well, hopefully they kept that rope, because there's probably some DNA on that. The weapon, because when you're pulling on a rope like that, you're going to embed skin cells in the rope, but you're holding it so tight. I doubt that they would wear gloves back in 1975, I think this is. Because you're only concerned about, I mean, I guess if you were thinking about fingerprints maybe, but you're not going to leave a fingerprint on a rope. So, let's see. The weapon with which she was stabbed was not found at the scene, and it has not yet been determined what type of weapon it is, according to Clock. I guess he's the detective. No motive for the murder has been established, but investigation is continuing by the state's attorney's office, the sheriff's office, and the Rapid City Police Department, according to Clock. Hey, thanks, Claudia Neubauer. Yep, I am keeping it up. Claudia Neubauer. Hey, what's going on with the fructose doulos? Anything new coming up in that one? Just still waiting and waiting? When are they going to file charges against the guy? God. Pretty soon we're going to go right back over that whole affidavit again, but everything's already been mapped out, so we'll all get it fresh in our minds. It's always good to do a refresher on that. Would you guys be interested in that? put a 1 if you'd be interested in going back over that affidavit at some point through the whole thing, but now it's mapped out so we don't have to take that time mapping things out. Okay. Sweet. Excellent. Why not? Okay. We'll do it one of these days coming up. And then I'm also going to do, you know, the lady that called in with she's the Dlive path expert. She wrote the book that you guys bought. I think we're going to go over the whole thing in chunks. Like, she'll come on, we'll go over I've read quite a few pages at the beginning where you know, it's talking about the planning of it. It talks about each of the people and then various locations and so forth. That's more of a mystery type thing with a little bit of maybe possibly crime crossover. I mean, it's hard to know. But it'd be great to have her on there. We can just kind of keep going through it. All right. Okay. Yeah, I used a different Chris Watts, Tammy, for the knot symbol. What's the lady mean, though? I put her in there because I liked her face, but it's too small. I think I need to zoom in just on her hands and her face. So I'll probably prop that a little bit more. What did it mean, though? That's right. Yeah, I don't know what the name of the book is. Somebody probably remembers. Oh, it's like, oh no, is that what it is? Yeah, so there's no motive at all that they knew of at the time. But I think later on they determined one. It's pretty crazy. Oh, she's scared. Okay. I might actually make my own. I've got a 3D program where you can put in different emotions and so forth. What's going on, Chloe? She just loves the noisiest toy. It's actually... Here, look at it. Let me show you this thing, okay? Right, look at it. It's right here. Listen to how loud this is. Okay. Do you need to play with this one? Oh my god, just... Oh. Man, she's going crazy on it. Look at that. She's gonna kill that toy. Alright, here, let me, here. She has a whole bunch of other toys, like 100 other toys, okay? It just starts making so much noise. I'm actually gonna try to get the sound taken out of the inside. I think Chris can open it up and fill it with something that doesn't make noise. She'll still like it. Okay, sorry about that, buddy. Maybe some other time. Alright, so here's the next article in that case. Alright, so far we have a 22-year-old woman who's been found stabbed and strangled to death in a apartment, right? Authorities say the body of a 22-year-old woman has been found stabbed and strangled in a Rapid City motel. The victim was identified as Jolene Hass, originally of Fort Dodge, Iowa. Authorities said she had lived in Rapid City for less than a year working as a waitress. State's Attorney Jack Clark said Miss Shute had been dead less than 24 hours when she was found. Okay, so we already got that information. So that was on November 12th. And then on November 24th, series of drug abuse problems begin in Sunday's Journal. So this is just, this is January 24th, 1976. So this is about 2 months later. Several years ago, much attention was paid by the news media and local citizens to what was termed the drug abuse problem in Rapid City. That attention is now largely subsided, but it is because the use of illegal drugs in Rapid City has also lessened. No, say law enforcement personnel, the drug problem is still with us, and only recently gained renewed public attention with the November 1975 murder of undercover narcotics agent Jolene Hass in a Rapid City motel. So she was an undercover narcotics agent. So that's why I'm thinking it's a little bit like 21 Jump Street, right? I mean, that's kind of what he did. He looked young, but he was really... she was an undercover narcotics agent. Yep, I'm so mean. She's looking up at me like, where the hell's my toy? But anyways, isn't that wild? So she was an undercover narcotics agent. Journal staff writer Paul Riley talked with law enforcement officials, narcotic agents, and high school students, learning from them what the current illegal drug situation is in Rapid City. His findings are the subject of a 6-part series. And she kind of comes up in this series at various points. So on the 27th, 3 days later, after this, I think this is one of the parts. See, this is part 3 of 6, I think. So it says, Haas killing used to scare informants. The recent murder of a narcotics agent proposed legislation is to offer bounties for drug pushers, and the contested vehicle for feature law are discussed in this part 3. Okay, let me just go down to this part here. On November 10th, 1975, 22-year-old Jolene Hass was found dead in a Rapid City motel room with multiple stab wounds in her heart and a piece of clothesline tied around her neck. Miss Hass was an undercover narcotics agent working with the Pennington County Sheriff's Office. Many of the pushers in Rapid City area now are trying to capitalize on that still unsolved murder by telling their customers that they killed the narc, according to local law enforcement personnel. That makes sense. And what's weird is she was probably a waitress in the area, because that's sort of, you hear a lot of things as a waitress, you see a lot of things, you're also sometimes invited to go to different things, and she's 22 years old. I don't have a picture of her, though. I couldn't find one. People act as informants for a wide variety of reasons. Sometimes it's for revenge, sometimes one pusher is willing to cooperate with law enforcement authorities. The agents I don't know if that continues there. I think I missed. It goes on below that, but she's not mentioned again. So the part of her being mentioned is ended right there. All right, and then the next year in September, narcotic agent's death may have link with buried man. This is 1977. South Dakota is where this is located. It says James Clark, 38, whose body was unearthed late Thursday night in a cornfield. Wow. That's kind of weird. James Clark, 38, whose body was unearthed late Thursday night in a cornfield near his home, may have been connected with the death of an undercover narcotics agent in Rapid City 2 years ago, according to Union County Sheriff Eugene Rasmussen. Rasmussen said the agent, Jolene Hass Shoot, was to have testified at a jury trial in November 1975, in which Clark was convicted on drug charges, but she was murdered before the trial. Well, then you know that's why she was killed. Hey, Eric, how's it going? Thank you. Yeah, those damn cornfields, huh? I mean, they're so great. When the corn's high, it's easy to just get in there, bury somebody, and walk out, and nobody would know that you were in there until the corn's harvested, I guess. And who knows? At least they think it's a good place. Yeah, it's weird. It doesn't seem like my Streamlabs is even turned on. Let me see. That's weird. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's not playing any of the donations or anything. Sorry about that. That damn Streamlabs. First you got the crazy, crappy Australian accent. And when I say that, I mean I like Australian accent, but how they did it was horrible. So this is getting kind of interesting now, right? She was supposed to testify that same November. Like, she was killed just before she was supposed to testify. And she was murdered before the trial. Authorities found Clark's body in a 5-foot deep grave near his home on the edge of North Sioux City. Woodbury County, Iowa Sheriff Jack... it's almost like they killed him so that if he was ever caught, he wouldn't have said anything. Woodbury County, Iowa Sheriff Jack Risbalja said he received a tip Thursday that James Cowell, 27, had been involved in a murder in North Sioux City. The Iowa Sheriff's description of the grave... The Iowa Sheriff's description of the grave led Rasmussen to the site Thursday afternoon. The instructions said the grave was located 50 paces from the second tree in a line of evergreens behind Clark's home. The corn over the grave had been carefully replanted. Wow. After digging with shovels, a backhoe was brought in, and the body was uncovered just before midnight Thursday. Well, if you give somebody... That body would have never, ever been found, except somebody actually knew where it was and then said. Clark had apparently been shot 3 times with a gunshot, and it appeared that at least one of the wounds was in the heart, according to Rasmussen. Authorities have not established the motive of the slaying, he said. Well, it's pretty obvious, don't you think? The man charged with Clark's murder, James Donald Cowell, 27, of Sioux City, was already in a Sioux City jail on charges of making a false report of a bomb Wednesday at City Hall in Sioux City. 2 other men wanted as accessories after the fact in connection with Clark's murder are still being sought by authorities. They're Dwayne Seaton of Sioux City, Iowa, and Terry Yokerst of North Sioux City. Both men had been employed by Clark at Jim's Chopper Shop, a motorcycle shop in North Sioux City. And then that was September 17th, 1977. And this is the same article, it looks like, because I can see how it ends. Chopper Shop. So, yeah, that's weird. That's crazy. Now let's see what it says on this site. It says Haas 22 was found dead with multiple stab wounds at the former Delroy Motel in Sturgis Road. At the time, she had been working with local law enforcement as a witness. Haas had been involved in the drug culture and outlaw motorcycle gangs as a prostitute. So that's what she was prior. So they probably used that and said, listen, we'll go light on you if you become an informant, okay? She later became an informant, there you go, for the Sioux Falls Police Department, which led to the imprisonment of several offenders. One suspect bragged about killing Hass for money, but denied it to police and passed a polygraph test. Another suspect was found murdered and buried in a South Dakota cornfield in 1977. Investigators say they have exhausted all leads. Yeah, well, I don't you think that... Well, it's hard to say for sure if the guy that she was supposed to testify against was murdered because of her. He's in a really crappy world. But I wouldn't be shocked at all if somebody associated with him didn't want her to testify, because then that might have led to people coming down on the whole organization. Right. Yeah, they flipped her, right. Yeah, nothing's really working tonight for some... Let me try to get some of this stuff working. Okay, hold on a second. Oh man, I thought I turned off my stream for a second there. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna start these. Okay, Streamlabs labels. Gotta have that open. That's one of them. And then let's see if Streamlabs chat bot. You have to open up a bunch of things. Let's see what happens with this one. Okay, and then let me just try one more thing here. Yeah, so I think... Try it now. Try like one of the stream... Like type in... Let me do it. Oogla... Boogla. Oh, there you go. I think it's working now. Sweet. So it's weird that this... they haven't had any arrests at all in that one. I mean, all those years, it seems like that would be... What they should do is see if they can find DNA on that parachute cord. I think that's what they said. That was used around her neck. Or twine, or whatever the hell they called it. Okay, let's see if Bush and Beach Lifestyle, if it kicks in with some music. There we go. Everything's working now. Oh, well, it cut off really quick. What happened to it? Wow, that was weird. Yeah. I guess we'll see next time. If there is one. Thank you, Bush and Beach Lifestyle. Did it just sort of cut off right in the middle of dancing? Yeah, everything should be working. I'm just testing this right now. Let's see if this works. Okay. Does it cut off? No, there's nobody named John that's donating. We'll pretend, though, that's John Lorden.
This is a test donation for $1.
Okay. Alright, so it should work now. I'm not sure what happened, why that one cut off. What the hell is this? Oh yeah, now the chat's working too, look. Although, look at that. The newest member is Crystal, aka Beaver Gaming Sub, and I have it set where it's transparency, and it goes all the way underneath, like it's way over here underneath the chat area. That is crazy. Man. I guess I can't really do anything about that. Well, this case is cold, everybody, but another weird one that she actually was working. It doesn't sound like she was an undercover narcotics agent, though, right? I mean, didn't we kind of determine that by the time this sucker was over, that she wasn't really some person that was trained in the art of undercover narcotics? I mean, it sounds like she was just in that world, and they said, listen, you could do hard time unless you help us out here. And so I'm sure they gave her some training and so forth. Yeah, it was more like an informant, right? Right, Gene. There you go. Well, isn't Kathleen she is a member, though. Yeah, you click on the emoticons where the smiley faces are, and they show up down there. Right? No, it's just a cold case. There's no result for it whatsoever. It's just, even if you look in the paper, there's hardly even a mention of it over the years. It just sort of died. They never got an answer. And it could have been that the guy that was killed would have known the answer. And that's probably why that could be a reason why he's dead, right? Because he had the answer of who did it. And if he was ever caught, and they probably thought he was a really weak member of their, whatever the hell it was, the drug gang or whatever. They probably thought he was really weak and he would cave, so they took him out before anything could happen later. Because here's the thing. I bet you he disappeared off the face of the earth just after there was no trial because there was no witness. So here's what happened, in my opinion, is that they killed Jolene because they found out that she was an agent. And then because they knew her, and then she was going to testify. So then, because she was going to testify, they killed her so that their guy wouldn't be put in jail. And they probably even thought, God, he'll talk if he goes into jail because I want to get the bigger fish. So as soon as he's released, because there's no trial now, the star witness is gone, then they took him out on their own and buried him somewhere where he should be never to be found. And it was an anonymous tip. So whoever sent that tip probably knows the answer to all of it. You guys can't hear me? Oh. Yeah. Well, anyways, that's what I think happened. And now we're going to go to another case. Alicia Hummel. And hers is June 2015, so it's not long ago, but it's cold already. Unsolved. So this is June 3rd, 2015. The death of a 29-year-old Iowa woman. And there actually is a picture of her. This is her right here. Okay, sorry, this is right out of the paper. I drank something where it's sort of like bubbling up in my stomach. Like a drink. Well, here's the truth, everybody. I can't burp, all right? Like everybody else. Like everybody else can burp when they have gas in their stomach, and I just sit there and get frustrated. I don't know why. It's so easy for people who burp. They always look at me. What do you mean you can't burp? What the heck? What the hell is this? Oh, really? You can't burp, huh? Awesome. Join the club. Let's have a You Can't Burp club. Hey, there you are. SR71 Blackbird. That's right. What the hell is this? The death of a 29-year-old Iowa woman whose body was found in the Missouri River in southeastern South Dakota is being investigated as a homicide. You know, Missouri is another state. Like, whatever goes on, you know. Let's see. South Dakota. So they said the southeast portion. I mean, I'll just... That's not... Where is South Dakota? Hold on. Jesus. Right there. I was totally in the wrong state right there. So we'll just put a pin down here and just generally say... You know, it could be actually right there. Alicia Hummel. And then maybe we'll have better details later. I'm just going to put this here just to have a general location. Okay. Alicia Hummel of Sioux City, Iowa was found dead Monday in Vermilion. Okay, now we got a better... In Vermilion near Myron Grove boat launch. Okay, now we can really narrow this down. Okay. Is that what it was? So I was almost kind of down there, right? Not too bad, not too bad. And then on the Myron Grove boat launch. Oh, there it is, right there. Body found Myron Grove boat launch in Vermilion. Yep, no street view there. Didn't think there was going to be. Okay, back to the story. Now we've got where she was found, okay? Hey, Rupel Thaker. How's it going? Clay County Sheriff Andrew Howe says the death is suspicious. He says Hummel's car was found near her body, but crews are still looking for her cell phone. Reports, let's see, KELO-TV reports an autopsy was conducted on Tuesday while crews searched the river for evidence. Clay County authorities are looking at social media for any clues and are seeking information from anyone who may have seen anything unusual in the area. Alright, so her car was found there as well. So right, so now we move on to, that was on June 3rd, and then here's a story on June 10th, 2015. Right here. Autopsy revealed violent injuries and murder mystery. Preliminary autopsy results. Hold on a second. What's going on here? Preliminary autopsy results show that an Iowa woman whose body was found near the Missouri River in southeastern South Dakota suffered a blunt force trauma to the head and incision wounds to the neck. Wow. Alicia Hummel, 29, of Sioux City, was found in the late afternoon on June 1st near a boat dock at Myron Grove, also known as the Highline area of Clay County. The final autopsy will be released once completed. The Attorney General Office and Clay County Sheriff's Department are still requesting the public's assistance with information relating to the homicide. And 3 months later, this is a little longer one here. Homicide investigation continues into Clay County. Law enforcement officials in Clay County are continuing their homicide investigation into the drowning death of a 29-year-old woman. Wow, so they must have... So maybe that was her ultimate cause of death, even though she was stabbed in the neck and blunt force trauma. Clay County Sheriff Andy Howe said his department still talks every day about the case of Alicia Hummel, who was found dead June 1st in Missouri River near the boat dock at Myron Grove. He said the case remains active and hasn't gone cold, but he encourages people with information to come forward even if they believe the department has already heard about it. The leads still come in. Some of them are repeats, which is fine. Howe told the Equalizer. Let's see, I don't want anybody. An autopsy determined that her cause of death was drowning, but the body also had blunt force trauma to the head and incision wounds to the neck. So she probably was just bashed in the head, knocked her out, stabbed in the neck, and just thrown into the river. And as her body, as she was dying, she was breathing in, and her last gasp were water, even though maybe she wasn't even awake, right? But so, that's what the autopsy is going to say, is that she drowned, but she probably would have died, I would think, from stab wounds to the neck, and might not have, though, if the wounds didn't actually sever any major arteries or anything. But Howe said the Sheriff's Department would rather receive too much information regarding the case than not enough. There might be some information that everybody is chatting about and that people think that we've already followed up on, which is why I don't mind if people call. Let's see. Howe said authorities haven't identified a specific suspect yet, but they are paying a lot of attention to several people as potential suspects. We're just trying to piece a lot of stuff together, he said. We've got a lot of data that we need to spend time with. Law enforcement authorities are working to find a source of funding for a reward. The State Department of Criminal Investigation is assisting the Sheriff's Department in processing data. Well, so it's been 4 years, though. This happened 4 years ago, and there's been no... it's still cold, I guess. All right, I got more actual Google searched articles here that are a little bit more complete, but I haven't read them yet, so I want to see how they've put things together. So hold on a second. All right, I'm back. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So here we go. So here's an article right here. I wonder if this would be one that would be interesting to get a hold of a family member in, because it's recent. Alicia Hummel was known in her hometown of Sioux City, Iowa, as loving, wonderful, and incredibly loyal. She was the definition of a best friend. Let's see. In 2011, while still in college, Alicia married her high school sweetheart. The marriage didn't last, and the two separated in 2014. According to Bethany, Alicia was finally coming to terms with moving on, becoming independent and finding herself again. Alicia leaned on Bethany for support and their bond strengthened. That's Alicia right there, and I guess that's Jody Hansen and Bethany right there. On June 1st, 2015, so here's the story written more recently. Let's see when this article was. So this is written June 2018. On June 1st, 2015, Alicia was preparing for summer vacation at the Siouxland Family Center. She was getting ready for a month off of work. She knew the divorce was coming closer and just wanted some time away for herself to think. Really? Wow. So the divorce is right around, right then. Maybe, I wonder if there was a life insurance policy anywhere. That was, that would have been too obvious, I guess. Because if she died before they were divorced, they'd still be married, right? But I thought they said she got divorced in they were separated in 2014. So on June 1st, 2015, Alicia was preparing for summer vacation at the Siouxland Family Center. Let's see where that is. Let's get that marked down there. So that's the Siouxland Family Center. Maybe that building. Trying to see if that's, nah, that doesn't really look like it. Maybe it's over here. That's just the huge property. Well, that's a cemetery, right? Is that what that says? Siouxland Family Center. Well, that's the address it gives. Look at that. The hell? Oh. Well, it sort of seems like it's this building, but I don't even know. It doesn't even look like there's anything related to a family center anywhere near here. You know what I mean? That's where the address is, though. You can see it right up here. Well, you can't see it, but right there. Look at Siouxland Family Center, and then you click on it, and that's where it puts the pin. And it even has a little picture there with absolutely nothing in it. But anyways, we'll just say maybe it's sort of like the cemetery and things like that. I don't know. No, it's different. She was getting ready for a month off of work. So she was, let's see. Alicia was preparing for summer vacation at the Siouxland Family Center. She was getting ready for a month off of work. She knew the divorce was coming closer and just wanted some time away for herself to think. According to her grandmother, Jan, whom Alicia was living with at the time, Alicia asked a few of her friends if they wanted to go fishing in Vermilion, South Dakota, less than an hour away from Sioux City. No one could come, so she made plans to go to Myron Grove fishing spot alone. Jane recalled. Wow. On her way out of the house, Alicia asked her grandfather, Dwayne, if once she returned from fishing trip, he would help her clean any fish that she had caught. He said he would, and Alicia drove off. That was the last time Jan and Dwayne saw her granddaughter. Hey, thanks, Lanky Tor. You guys are always so nice. See, the thing is, all we have is articles to look at, but it's interesting to piece it all together on a map and then have the story all in your head. Sometimes the newspaper doesn't have it right, though, as I've learned recently. Clay County Sheriff Andy Howe told Dateline police believe Alicia was indeed fishing alone that day. He added that around 2:20 that afternoon, a state park employee at Myron Grove, who was cleaning the area, found a body at the edge of the Missouri River near a dock. It was Alicia. She was only 29 years old. Sheriff Howe told Dateline the employee immediately reported the discovery to police. So this is a Dateline, NBC Dateline article here. Alicia had suffered neck wounds and blunt force trauma to the head. Sheriff Howe said an autopsy concluded that actual cause of death was drowning. So the actual cause of death was drowning. Alicia's death has been ruled a homicide by Clay County Sheriff's Department. Well, yeah. I guess you could, I don't know how, people don't bash themselves in the head, stab themselves in the neck, and then jump into a water to commit suicide. But, to be fair, she was maybe a little depressed because she was getting divorced. Nobody would go fishing with her, so she went fishing alone. So, that's probably why they brought that up. Sheriff Howe said a dark vehicle was spotted in the area around the time they believe Alicia was fishing. Now, let's see. First it said, friends and family were devastated by Alicia's death. It was a complete shock that someone would do something like that to someone like her. Sheriff Howe said a dark vehicle was spotted in the area around the time they believe Alicia was fishing. Authorities tried to locate the driver of that car, but were never able to track the person down. Sheriff Howe said they have received hundreds and hundreds of tips, but do not have any suspects or persons of interest in Alicia's murder. Hold on a second. Got to load up the... I always forget what I call that thing. The control panel for YouTube. Almost there, though. Nothing worse when you click the wrong button and it shoots you about 100 miles away from where you need to be. Okay. So that was one article, and let's see what we got on the next one. The other one seemed like it was quite a bit longer than that one. Yeah, this one has a lot of information. This one was written on June 8th, 2018. Hey, all right, Eric. You now have the emoticons. Yeah, just the other day I had my first channel member and Patreon member live show, although I think I didn't give it enough time for people to realize it existed. But there was 35 of you guys there, so thank you. Oh, and thank you to Don how do you say that? Tetaton? Hope I said that right. Yeah, now you guys have access to the serial killer emoticons and rodeo clowns and crazy cats and nefarious psychos and what the hell is this and boom and blue and a barbarian and a troll and a no Chris Watts. As a matter of fact, I have to put one out there for merely saying that name. There we go. Now, I'm probably going to change that one with the lady, though. What is it supposed to be again? Surprise, or like oh no, or oh dear. Maybe I can, well, what I was going to try first is I'll zoom in to see if we can get more features on her face. So her face would almost be as big as radar right there. Yeah. Yeah, it's just, I got to make it so it's clear. I think I can zoom in and make that a lot bigger. You don't need to see her shoulders and that kind of thing. The last picture Alicia Hummel took of herself were moments before she died. Hummel had taken a few Snapchat selfies, wow, posted on a boat dock along the Missouri River. Do those exist? Wow, that's crazy. Let's see. So that's the boat dock. That looks just like what we have. I doubt that's it, because that's a bridge. You know, that's something totally different there. That's the dock, though, I think. Yeah. Wow. Hummel had taken a few Snapchat selfies posted on a boat dock near the Missouri River just outside Vermilion, the Argus Leader reported. She wanted to show her followers how she was spending her first day of vacation. That's something her friends and family will never cherish, or will forever cherish. Never, Jesus. Never and forever. They're like completely opposite. Right? Man, you guys are all still talking about the lady's face? Oh my God. Well, I'm gonna change it. Yeah. Well, this one right here is June 8th, 2018. So I'm going to go. This one seems like it's got a lot more than the last one that I read. Way more. Let's see. No one else was seen in these last Snapchats. It's kind of weird. It's a little bit like the Delphi, right? Like there's pictures on the bridge. Nobody else was seen. You guys are crazy, you know that? Every last one of you. Because we're freaks! No one else was seen in those last Snapchats, just Hummel showing off a fishing pole. Hummel had mentioned in a few messages that were that there were others around, but it's not known for sure if Hummel went fishing by herself that June 2015 day, Hummel's good friend said. What's unsettling, those people she mentions, did they take her life? Well, did anybody come forward and say that they saw her fishing? If they didn't, then maybe they did. Family, friends, and law enforcement are still looking for answers 3 years after a coroner ruled Hummel's death a homicide. Authorities are confident it wasn't an accident. Well, yeah. Try to explain to me how that would happen accidentally. We don't have any more news than we did on June 1st, 2015. That's the hardest part. We don't have answers. Hummel is thought to have been killed sometime between 1 and 3 p.m., about 3 weeks shy of her 30th birthday. A state game, fish, and parks employee who was cleaning up the area found her body around 3:30. So that's the family center that she was at, and then she drove up northwest. And there's the... Now that's kind of interesting. Some of those shots we see, the water's higher, and that's the boat dock right there. Because the ones we were looking at, that was literally underwater. Like the water gets higher, and then I think that floats. I don't think that's affixed to the ground like that. But that's the spot right there. That's not the article. Yeah, see right there how the water is up much higher in that shot. Okay, I think I was on this one. That's the article I was reading. Determined that Hummel's cause of death was drowning. Perfect day. Her life was very much at the moment. Not one person has come forward. There's certain information you want to make sure is unknown except to us and the killer, House said. Yep. Not one person has come forward to say that they were at Myron Grove that day. Wow. So there you go. That's what I was just saying a minute ago. She was saying, oh yeah, there's other people around here fishing. Well, how come none of those people have come forward at that point? All right, so let's go. Here's that timeline part. Hummel is thought to have been killed sometime between 1 and 3 p.m. June 1st, 2015, about 3 weeks shy of her 30th birthday. A state game, fish, and parks employee who was cleaning up the area found her body around 3:30 p.m. at the edge of the water by the boat ramp at Myron Grove, also known as the Highline area about 7 miles west of Vermilion. A memorial cross with a flag and flower rests near the parking lot by the ramp. An autopsy determined that Hummel's cause of death was drowning, but is also listed blunt force, head trauma, and the incised wound on her neck as contributing factors. She had no signs of alcohol in her system. Howe wouldn't say whether sexual assault took place before the killing. Well, if there was sexual assault, then you guys need to be solving this thing quickly. Okay. That day was a warm, sunny day in rural Clay County. It was the perfect day to go fishing, something Hummel enjoyed regularly. It wasn't uncommon for her to go by herself. It wasn't uncommon for Hummel to do anything by herself. She was always one for spontaneous adventure. Her friend recalled a time when Hummel made quick decisions to attend a concert a few hours from her home in Sioux City or a trip to a shrine in Nebraska. Her life was very much by the moment, very much spontaneity. She just went with things. Hummel stopped at Walmart before she went fishing, according to Hummel's Snapchat timeline. Hummel's younger sister, Emily Gilliam, hold on, let's see if we can figure this out. Okay, so she could have gone to this Walmart right here, I guess. There's one there, and there's also one right here, which, you know, if she was right there, she could have went to that one and then just headed this direction and wouldn't have to veer that far off to go to that one. So it's probably either this one or possibly that one. Man, I keep losing the one I was reading. Okay, so there's that timeline. Warm sunny day. Her life very much by the moment. She stopped at a Walmart before she went fishing, according to Hummel's Snapchat timeline. Hummel's younger sister, Emily Gilliam, said in a phone interview, "There's not much more we know about her day. Law enforcement say they can't release much more information than what they initially did 3 years ago, as they still consider it an open case." Clay County Sheriff and Andy Howe, that's his name, Clay County Sheriff Andy Howe, who runs point on the investigation efforts, said he'd love to release more information, but he wants to make sure that if the killer is found, that prosecutors can still have a case. Well, why wouldn't they still have a case? It would just mean that he would know about it. There's certain, well, I know why they do it because there's people that falsely confess because they want to be important. You know, like John Mark Carr did. You know, if you put too much information out, then anybody can come in and say, oh yeah, well, hell, I did this, this, and that, but it was all in the articles. So you basically want to keep a lot of that stuff to yourself, obviously, because when they hear the information, they'll know they got the right guy, because it's not been released yet. Not one person has come forward to say they were at Myron Grove that day, and Howe is still puzzled as to how nobody would have seen or been there that day, as Myron Grove is a relatively busy area for locals. Well, and she also mentioned that there were other people there. So that's the most important part. I can't explain that, Howe said. It should have been a busy area. Hey, Chloe, what are you doing down there? Chloe. Calm down, bud. The only road in or out of Myron Grove area forks a few yards before the dock, with one road branching to private properties and the other to the popular public fishing and water sports spot. 2 parking lots are separated by a line of trees. Well, let's go there. Yeah, there's a parking lot there, and you know, I actually think that this is probably more over here, I would guess. Okay, so maybe that's the road they're talking about. It forks off. So to come in there, you probably drove on like this and then cut across on one of these roads. Oh yeah, look at that. That's even got a street view on there. So let's see how this works. Well, I don't want to, let's just go further down, but it cuts off just before you would keep going straight. Darn it. Yeah, this is a 2009 street view right here. And then right there's kind of a dirt road that then you can follow and keep going. And it ends up right here where you can go down to the boat ramp and go fishing. But who knows who you're driving by when you go by an area like that, right? You see a girl by herself driving to go fishing. I mean, it's kind of weird that she went fishing by herself, right? I mean, I know women fish, but there aren't, mainly men fish, right? Let's just be honest. Don't go, oh, Gray, that's so sexist. No, it's just the way it is. All right? So it's weird that she just went fishing on her own. You don't see that too often. I know that's true. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, I would, so therefore everybody does it. Yeah, that's not how I do it. Okay? Just be honest right there. How many women go fishing alone compared to men who might go fishing alone? What do you think the percentage is? All right, but I mean, how many... I mean, I've gone fishing 1,000 times by myself just to go fishing because I was like, oh, I want to go fishing. But what do you think the percentage is? Like, give me a number. Yeah, but mostly by like 90%. I would say 90 to 10, something like that. Yeah, or 0.5. There you go. Yeah, so it's not common. You sort of wonder what happened there. It's interesting that a divorce was coming up, though, right? That part's interesting. Now, if she was sexually assaulted, it sort of throws out all of that information because about her being in the middle of a divorce, because there wouldn't be a reason that that person would sexually assault her unless they were just trying to make it look like something else. If she was sexually assaulted, she was found in the water. Unless they deposited semen inside of her, the water would have washed it away. So hopefully they have a DNA sample, and if they do, hopefully they're in communication with Parabon, and this one will be solved. At least you'd hope. Heather Graham wouldn't go fishing if she was paid to do so. Well, what if it was $1 million? I mean, come on. Now, it sounded like she was there by herself because she was on a Snapchat. Right? She was on a Snapchat and she didn't say, hey, I'm here with my ex or anything. She was just out fishing alone. That's what it sounds like. They seem to have some of that stuff proven. The person of interest circle starts small with those closest to the victim. Right. As persons of interest are ruled out, the circle grows larger, expanding out to strangers, which is unlikely in murder. Unlikely in murders, which is unlikely in murder. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what's... so even in that case, the Broussard case, of course they're going to start right away, look at the husband. I think they were probably shocked. It is somebody that she knew, which seemed pretty obvious at the beginning. And so I'm sure they were shocked to have it turn out the way it did. It's pretty crazy. A friend actually killing you to steal your baby? Come on. If you did that brutal of a murder, what's going to stop you from doing it again? Svakini said. That's what's scary, to bring that close to that community. It could be someone going to the grocery store. She gets nervous speaking out about what she knows publicly, but knows she must to keep alive Hummel's story. Well, maybe I should... try to get a hold of the mother and get her on here and we can talk about it. Maybe a family member of some sort. Hummel had been working at a preschool in Dakota City, Nebraska since 2013. She had taught infants and toddlers, a passion of hers she hoped to continue and grow. She liked to take photographs. Yeah, there's a lot of information in there. Let me see if that recent one that... I can't remember who said they sent me an email, but... who was it that sent me an email in there? Let's go take a look at it. So, I guess this one is from this year. When Alicia Hummel would go fishing, she did so with the rod sticking through the sunroof of her gray Ford Fusion. Alicia Hummel's last day on Earth was her first day of vacation from her job at Siouxland Family Center in Dakota City, where she taught early Head Start. I couldn't see. I don't know if that address is just wrong, but I didn't see anything that looked like that at all there. It was the beginning of... let me see. Where is Sioux? In Dakota City. Let's see where Dakota City is. Do we at least have that right? Yeah, so that's in Dakota City, and they said that that was the... I just put that there, but it was right there on that intersection. Oh, man. She's going nuts over there. She's trying to kill a fake toy. Wow. The previous weekend was something special for the Abraham family, a family Alicia felt a part of. Amanda said each year on the last weekend of May, the Abraham family would meet in Minnesota to fish and be with one another. Let's see. In the early afternoon of June 1st, 2015, she drove from her Sioux City home, northwest of Myron Grove, a remote recreational area along the Missouri River in rural Clay County, South Dakota. She went there to fish, presumably driving with her rod sticking out of the sunroof. Want to go fishing? Angel Abraham, Amanda, 21-year-old daughter, remembers Alicia messaging her. I'll come out later, Angel responded. Angel waited for a reply and acknowledgement that Alicia knew Angel would come, but another message never came. That was the final communication Angel had with Alicia, who she saw as an older sister. Angel believes it may have been one of the final conversations Alicia had with anyone before she died. A state boat ramp attendant found Alicia in the water near the shore about 2 p.m. According to Angel, Alicia decided to go fishing with her and possibly meet up later. To Angel and Amanda, that was a normal thing for Alicia to do. Now Angel wonders if she had set aside what she was doing and had gone fishing. Yeah, a lot of people have that guilt, like if she had gone with her, would she still be alive? It is unclear whether or not Alicia was alone that day at Myron Grove. You know, it's weird how she asked a whole bunch of people to go fishing, and you wonder if she asked the wrong person at some point. But apparently they would have all those text messages, so if that is the case, then they've investigated that and it didn't lead anywhere. I mean, it could have just been a psycho at the lake, but what's weird is that she was killed at such a middle of the day time. It wasn't like it was 10 o'clock at night or the sun was coming down. I mean, she was killed just between noon and 3, right? Like just right there where people might be there. So how did that go down? I mean, there must have been somebody was just aware that nobody was coming. And the fact that she said that there was people there fishing, I guess, in her Snapchat. Well, where were those people? It kind of makes you think that it's possible that those people were involved, because I think most people would say, oh yeah, I saw her fishing there. What time was that? Well, it was like 3:30, and then you can be a witness. Now, they said that there was a black vehicle driving around in the area at the time. Alicia's messages revealed that there were others at the river. So there you go, that's that part. Alicia's messages revealed that there were others at the river access the day she was murdered. But that is something Clay County Sheriff Andy Howe doesn't find unusual. What he finds unusual is the silence surrounding those that may have been there. There you go. See, the other article didn't bring it up that same way. Not one person has come forward to us to tell us they were there, Howe said, but yet traffic goes in and out of there all the time. We haven't spoken to anyone that day that was on the river that passed by that area that might have seen anything that could help us. Regardless, after 4 years, no one has come forward to say they were present at Myron Grove that day. Wow. So there isn't even a soul that says they were at the dock that day. My God. They didn't even say around that time. They just say, basically there was like nobody ever there. Well, prior to her being found, right? In Vermilion, which is about 11 miles from Myron Grove, cases like Hummel's stick in the minds of its residents. Each day, when Howe enters the office, he remembers Alicia when he sees the flyer with her face on it. It's one I think about every day, Howe said. An autopsy showed she died of drowning in the Missouri after receiving a blunt force trauma to her head and incised wound on her neck. Howe said that any murder weapon was never found. I'm sure they even put scuba divers in there and everything. At the funeral, Amanda Abraham remembered the high collar Alicia was dressed in and the long sleeves that covered up the bruises on her hands and arms. She believes Alicia fought back that day. So she had a high-collared shirt on to hide the incised wound on her neck at the funeral. In the beginning, law enforcement's primary lead was a dark-colored vehicle believed to have been in the area that day. Now Howe and the others are looking for new clues. He said they are still sending evidence to forensic laboratory, hoping something will point them in the right direction. Yeah, you guys need DNA. I always think that today could be the day. Isn't that weird how there's these little weird similarities? Not physically to the Delphi case, but just, similar things. Like, that's a comment that's said every single... Becky writes that comment every single day. She says, today is the day. You also have the... I mean, that's out there in the public that, Libby and Abby had to have, like, collars, well, Abby didn't, but Libby had to have, like, something around, hiding a wound, okay? So you have that, and you have the today is the day. You have the Snapchat angle where she was taking pictures on the same place where she ends up dying, and not a soul was in those Snapchat images. And so it's weird. There's a couple little similarities like that, right? Well, this one in size means a slice. That's different than puncture. They're denoted differently. So incise means created by a sharp... Well, let's just type it in. Let's do it. An incised wound is a wound or cut caused by a clean, sharp object, such as a razor. So like a cut. So it's not a puncture. A puncture is a different deal. I don't think, anyways. I'm not sure you... I guess if you were stabbed with a knife just directly, I think that's still an incised wound. But God, I used to know all this. I remember in the Arias case I had it all figured out. But anyways, I think it's totally different. That it wasn't just stabs to the neck. I think her neck was slit basically. No, so that's the old one. Again. So this is the June 2019 one. Okay, she died of drowning in the Missouri. At the funeral, Amanda Abraham remembered the high collar Alicia was dressed in and the long sleeves that covered up the bruising on her hands and arms. She believes Alicia fought back that day at Myron Grove, a thought that haunts her to this day. In the beginning, law enforcement primary lead was a dark-colored vehicle believed to have been in the area that day. Now, Howe and the others are looking for new clues. He said they are still sending evidence to the forensics laboratory, hoping something will point them in the right direction. Right. Well, that's what I think. I think incise just means that a sharp edge cuts. Okay, puncture doesn't necessarily mean there was a sharp edge on anything, but there was a leading point that you poked in there with. So, like a ice pick would be a puncture, screwdriver would be a puncture, that kind of thing. Yeah, we don't need to over-explain it to everybody. It's kind of obvious. In the beginning, law enforcement primary lead was dark-colored vehicle believed to have been in the area that day. Now, Howe and the others are looking for new clues. He said they are still sending evidence to the forensics laboratory, hoping something will point them in the right direction. I always think that today could be the day that the phone rings and we get a break, Howe said. I'm optimistic that day will come. You just never know when it's going to be. Howe said that several suspects are still being investigated in the case, though he did not identify any of them. Beyond that, Howe said any evidence or other information law enforcement has is keeping under wraps in hopes of finding the murderer and successfully prosecuting them. But for those that knew her and loved her, like Jody Hansen, the last 4 years have been defined by anger. Now, let's see. Yeah. Well, man, that sucks. Jesus, it's too recent too to not be solved with all the new technology. I wonder if they ever consulted with the FBI at any point. Because you can send stuff to the FBI that you've collected. The part that really hampers everything is that she was found in water. Had her body just been left on the side, on the ground, for example, it would have preserved any potential DNA a lot easier. She was 29 years old. So, I mean, just to recap the story, she was in the middle of getting a divorce and then she decided to go fishing on her own, and we could just show you on a map. She was at this Siouxland Family Center, just sort of finishing up and going out to start on her first day of vacation. So from there, she contacted friends saying, hey, do you guys want to go fishing today? And most of them said, nah. Well, every one of them couldn't go fishing. And she contacted, I think it was her grandfather or father, I can't remember now, but and said, hey, if I catch any fish, can you clean them later? And they said, yep, I'll do that. But she went fishing on her own, and she went to a Walmart first. I don't know which Walmart. There's a few of them out. There's one up in this area in Vermilion, and then there's a Walmart, two Walmarts down in this area. So she could have gone to the one in Vermilion, actually, because you would actually have to drive through there before you can kind of cut across and go down that road. I actually think that's the road that you would take to get there. I don't know if there's another road. It doesn't look like there's roads that kind of go along the shoreline to get there. So anyways, she shows up at this boat ramp right here. And she does some Snapchat photos of herself on the boat ramp. I haven't seen those. If anybody knows where those are, let me know. I didn't really look that long, though. And she said that there were some other people here. And at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, somebody that works at the park here found her body floating in the water right next to this ramp. And that's it. I mean, she was blunt force trauma to the head. She had an incised wound to the neck, like somebody trying to slit your throat. And her cause of death was drowning, and the manner was determined to be homicide. They were not able to find the weapon used to cut her neck anywhere around that area. Some witnesses say that they saw a black car in the area, but nothing came of that. She did mention that she saw people here when she was there. But amazingly, not one single witness has come forward. So she, in her Snapchat communications or texting, she said, oh, there's other people here too. But not one of those have come forward, which is, well, it's despicable. Well, I get, no matter what, it's despicable, I guess. But if it's the killer and an associate or whatever, that makes sense, right? It's not like these citizens that just never came forward. It would mean that those killers, again, a little bit like the Delphi case, were waiting for somebody to show up. Or they just had an opportunity there. I mean, it's weird. There's some very similar aspects of this. I'm not saying it's related because it's, thousands of miles away, but or at least 1,000, I would think. I know, right, Amanda? Because why wouldn't you say something? That's exactly right. I mean, you would say something if you were there and you weren't the killer. You'd say, oh, yeah, she was fishing there, and then I left. But the thing is when you go fishing, you don't just kind of leave. You fish for a long time. So it seems like if somebody was there fishing, they would have seen what happened, or they are the people who did it. And I wonder if they found any surveillance anywhere. Because at some point you'd have to drive by a town. I mean, that's what makes it difficult. Nobody out here is going to have surveillance. And this town might. But if the killers lived out here, forget it, It's just not going to happen. Yeah, it could definitely be a crime of opportunity. Like they had, these people were bad people with the propensity to kill. And man, they were just stunned at this perfect opportunity where there's a single woman fishing alone out in the middle of absolutely nowhere. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is about as rural as you get. I mean, there isn't anything out there. This town, I guess, is what they say, 11 miles away. Let's see. Yeah, it's right to the middle. It's 11, about 10 and a half, 10 to the middle there. They won't give out the information if there was signs of sexual assault, Diesel. So they're trying to keep things from the public that only the killer would know. Because in reality, it doesn't help us at all to know that if she was sexually assaulted. Doesn't help us at all. Okay, we would just know that she was sexually assaulted. It helps them to know that, because then they could do like a rape kit and then put that into the genealogy databases and boom, get a hit. And it also helps them if somebody comes forward and says, oh yeah, this guy told me he raped her, he hit her in the head, and then they'd say, oh wow. Well, see, that part would be out there, the hit in the head, the knife wound, and then threw her in the water, something like that. That would be out there. But what's not out there would be if she was raped, or let's say her hands were tied behind her back, little things like that we're not going to get to know. Just like in the Delphi case, we as a public have absolutely no clue in reality what the crime scene looks like. Okay? Nobody's really come forward to say anything. And law enforcement has done a great job of keeping that to themselves. Yeah. So, like 3 cases we covered tonight from South Dakota. The first one absolutely had almost no information about it. And let's see if I can. I'm going to try to recap these other 2. So hold on a second. Yeah, the first one was Raymond Rosales, who was he was shot in, I think, his left abdomen. And they think maybe he was shot somewhere else and he was just dumped on a driveway. And they have absolutely no other information. And this is in South Dakota. I mean, if you want to go back and watch the video, you can see where he was found, that kind of thing. And then the second case we covered was Jolene Hass, who they referred to. At first, they didn't know really anything about her other than that she was a waitress. And then as the stories developed in the newspaper, they called her a narcotics agent. And it turns out it was much less interesting, I guess. I mean, she was actually just an informant. Okay, and she was killed just before a trial that she was supposed to testify in against a drug dealer. But then she was murdered. She was stabbed and strangled to death. And I guess what I was going to say was, let's see. So she was stabbed and strangled to death. And after that, they didn't do a trial on the one individual. Now, the individual that the trial was about, obviously he went missing, because 2 years later, they found his body in a cornfield, buried in the ground with new corn intentionally planted over the top of it. But somebody gave the police exact information on whoa! What the heck was that? Where his body would be found. God, did you hear that? That was loud. What the heck was that? Ding. I don't know what the hell that was. That was crazy. What the hell was that? Yeah? I have no idea what that came from. Yeah, so that one was pretty weird too, and they haven't made any arrests in that case, and that case was from 1975. That's how long ago that was. They think it's possible that the guy... See, this is what I think, that I was saying earlier, is the individual that she was supposed to testify against, the people he worked for did not want him in the prison system because they viewed him as a weak-minded person that would squeal, right? So then even when they got him out, they took him out because they didn't want him to squeal if they ever arrested him, because he would be the first suspect, somebody associated with him, right? So they took him out immediately after there was no trial so that he wouldn't say anything about who actually killed Jolene. Okay? That's my opinion on that. Yep. Sometimes more than that, Diesel. Yeah, it was definitely a hit, and police think that maybe she was killed to send a message to any other potential informants. And that shit works, right? I mean, if somebody said, hey, we'll give you a year in jail or you can be an informant, and you say that about a week after an informant gets killed, you're going to say, I'll take the year in jail. Thank you. Right. Okay, everybody, I think that is it for the show tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the information. I mean, I know it's not really, when I say enjoy, I mean, I'm sure you didn't have a big smile on your face the whole time. Doo-doo-doo. Hey, Cairo! I mentioned you, Cairo. I said, you're probably not here because you're flying your drone.
I missed some of the show due to Christmas obligations. I enjoyed what I caught and will watch the beginning in a few. Keep up the great work.
Wow. That was one of the worst readings. That made all the other readings by that Streamlabs Australian voice sound great. That was absolutely horrible, the way that was read. Do you guys agree with that or not? But thank you, Cairo. I gotta go fix that ASAP. I always forget to fix that thing. Oh my god, that was horrible. Thank you. I missed the show earlier. It was awesome. Thank you very... wow. Me. Yeah. And then to repeat what I said at the beginning of the show, I thought, Jay for Justice, it was cool that information came out on her show where the friends were on there and they sort of put the pieces together and revealed that, oh my god, that's a friend of hers that lives there. Okay, but unfortunately the media is portraying that as somehow that they broke the case. I mean, it literally is worded like that. And that's just not the truth at all. The truth is that law enforcement already knew who that was. And law enforcement already was there. They knew who she was, everything. She'd talked to Tim Miller, Steve Miller, the band, yeah. She spoke to Tim Miller, and they already knew who this was. But they put the pieces together and got there. Now, it would have been more exciting as well had they not spent the first 3 hours of the show absolutely destroying the fiance named Shane. I mean, they attacked him mercilessly, or whatever the hell the term is, for 3 hours. And then breaking news came in, just like my channel got, the breaking news. We just didn't have people to put the puzzle together. And it's just, that's what it was, But the thing is even if you get lucky sometimes, you have to put yourself in the position to be lucky. Right? Like, there's people out there that say, man, I play the lottery and I never win. I mean, they don't say that. They go, man, I never win the lottery. And then you say, well, do you ever play? And they go, no, but okay, well, here's the truth. You can't win the lottery if you don't actually buy a ticket, right? So getting guests on like that made it possible for that to happen. Well, I just don't like, yeah, that's exactly the mentality, the vulture mentality, the gold rush mentality that a lot of these YouTubers have. It's you know what they were talking about after the show? How great of a marketing angle it was. Oh, God, it was so great for marketing. Oh, it was so awesome. Well, you know what? I never talk about that after my shows. You know, if I get credit out there for something, I think it's cool, but I'm not thinking in those terms. And see, those people, they're always thinking about, how can I get more subs and quickly? And it really, man, I just can't stand it. Okay, I would love to get back to what was before when I get 1,000, 1,500 subs a month. That'd be awesome, but that's not going to happen. Oh, you want to do a face? Okay, here we go. Okay, here I am. Oh, wow, just switching screens turns off the song. That kind of sucks. Okay, there's my face only. So it sounds like somebody's going to put a face on me here. Yeah, I don't get along with Jay or, you know, the dad with the phone guy at all. They treated me like crap. They'll always say I did something, but that's just not the reality of it. They realize when earlier I said, hey, you keep coming to my lives, and then at the end of my live shows, you'll say, hey, I'm going live in a minute. And I just felt like that was really disrespectful. If I want to tell people that you're going to go live, I'll do it. All right? As a matter of fact, I'll be on other people's lives, and they'll tell me, hey, great, are you going live? And I say, hey, I don't know. I don't want to, you know. I just feel dumb doing that. Like, why would you want to go? Or it's disrespectful, really. So now I'm on the screen by myself, waiting for a face camera thing, I guess. Oh, God. Arr! Puff the magic dragon. There we go. Woo! See, I can turn my head and everything. Look at that. Look at that. Ah, whoa. That's a good one. What is it exactly? I mean, it looks like lizard eyes. There you go. It's like an actual lizard eye. You can see it right up. Wait, I can't go in front of it. Right there, see? Woo! Oh, man. Oh, my God. My eyes started wobbling. That was weird. Oh. Now I'm a samurai, right? It doesn't even say who puts these on. I got to fix that, though. I don't know why it doesn't say who put that there, but... Oh, and there's some chat coming in. So who put both those on? I am a samurai warrior. See, it's weird how it can actually follow your face around, too, right? As you turn your head. I guess at the end of the show is when people can get me back by putting faces on me. Gray, you were so mean. Oh. Ding 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 ding. Bam! Now I've got Jaws. It's biting me in the head. I feel like Quint right now. Right? I feel... Oh, man. Look at it. It's... Hey, that's got to be 20 feet. 25 and 3 tons of them. Yeah. Great white shark. Yeah. Wow, you guys are really nailing me with that. Baby shark. Do. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks, Amanda Belg and Cairo. I don't know why it doesn't say whose name it is, though. I think I got to go get that fixed. And see why it's not putting that on there. Try to get that fixed for the next time. But I keep saying that about the Australian voice that Streamlabs spent maybe 5 minutes hooking up. Jabberjaw or something like that? Was that the cartoon? I think that was right. I think that's right. Jabberjaw, right? Yeah, it's all... Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Jacques Cousteau and Philippe. Now I'll be Rod Serling and Jacques Cousteau and Philippe will try to find... Let's see, what was it? And me and the... Okay, I used to be able to do Jacques Cousteau's voice, but now I can't remember it. Let's see. The octopus's tentacles. Oh, I can't even do it anymore. I used to practice that shit, but I don't even remember what the hell it sounded like. Well, thanks. Yeah, it's good at the end of the show. I think it'd be weird if I was interviewing a crime victim's mom and all of a sudden a squid showed up on my face. Remember, you guys remember those old shows like, what was the one that had, God, what the hell was the name of that one? There was a little kid with a flute, Puffin' Stuff. You remember that one? Most people that aren't my age aren't going to remember that. H.R. Puffin' Stuff. And then there was another one with squids. What was that one called? With the little redheaded kid, and there was these little squid creatures that would walk around. What was that one? Yeah, I always thought Puffin' Stuff was real. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, that witch scared the hell out of me. No, that's cool, man. Thank you very much. You can do whatever the heck you want. Just maybe at the end of the show is better. No, you remember the one, right, that had these little squid creatures walking around, and they lived in a cave, and it was right around that same time period. Hold on, I'll do it. Maybe they were octopus, though. I can't remember. Let's see. No, it wasn't. Yeah, Puffin' Stuff was great. Old show with red-headed kid and octopus creatures. Nah, that didn't really do it for him. Maybe it was squid. So I think they were squid, actually. Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. There you go. Boom. Yeah, it came right up. Look it right here. Look. Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. You guys don't remember this one? I haven't. Well, hold on. Let me switch over to the other screen. I haven't seen this crap in forever. Look at that. See, there they are. There's a red-headed kid, and that's what the little creatures look like. And it was from 73 to 75. I never bought into it, though. I never quite... Do you guys remember this at all? Come on. I think it was at the tail end of Puffin' Stuff. Yeah, I mean, look at these things. They were creepy looking. Look at that. Yeah, see, they were originally broadcast from September 6, 1969 to December 27th. Oh, come on. It went way longer than that. That's bullshit. They said it only were originally broadcast from September 6, 1969 to December 27th, 69. That's it? The broadcasts were successful enough, okay, that NBC kept it on Saturday morning schedule until August 72. So after that was over, they They brought in Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. Yeah. Well, you've never seen Puffin Stuff? Yeah. Okay, it looked like this. This is what the skit looked like. Well, it just shows you how young I was, right? I was 4. Okay, so don't, you know. I see they had this witch in there. Like this witch right, let's see. Like that was the witch up there. She was kind of creepy looking. And then that's this little creature. I don't even sure what I don't even know what that was. What this is right here. Okay, but then I started watching Land of the Lost. You remember that? Probably one of the worst shows with the slee stacks and all that. But when you're a kid, it's so awesome. And they had these little. They would go. And then they would shoot these little arrows that would almost flip end over end when they'd hit you. I don't even know how they could ever hurt anybody. Let me type in slee stack. It's got to be in there. Yeah, slee stack. Yeah, right there. There you go. That was a slee stack right there. Then they made friends with one little baby slee stack. You remember that? Oh my God. Man, this is bringing back all kinds of memory. Let's see. Land of the Lost intro. One of the worst. Just.
Marshall, Will, and Holly on the routine expedition met the greatest earthquake ever known.
Yeah! Look at that, look at that, look at that. That is the worst. Okay, come on. You got to admit that was the worst special effects you've ever seen in your life. Somebody poured water down a sink and then put a boat on an overlay. Like a blue screen. Absolutely terrible. Okay. All right, everybody. I guess that's going to be it for me tonight. Hey, Carol, look at the flowers. But actually, it's Carol, quote, look at the flowers. As I have to say every single time. Hey, there's Futures Past. Who doesn't like that name? I can't wait. Oh, yeah. So, okay, my mug. I got to make sure I don't lose these mug ideas. I can't wait to be wrong today. And the other one is more often than never. Yeah, the quote mugs. And then what was the other one? Oh, yeah. What the hell what the hell is this? Does anybody get up in the morning and say, I can't wait to be wrong today? Well, I think Andy's doing pretty good, actually. I mean, we even got in an argument on Thanksgiving and everything. Yeah. Seriously, though, what the hell is it? Well, what it is HR Puffin stuff that you were too young to watch, Cairo. You got to go back and watch some of those old episodes. They're really quite interesting. You know what's amazing is I can't imagine what it was like for the adults to have to sit around and watch a kid watch that and the kids were probably so enthralled, like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing that I've ever seen. And the whole time the parents are watching it, just going, this is so freaking stupid. Yeah, so this little guy here, he had a little flute that could talk. That's what he's holding in his hand. It's weird that, I can remember all that shit, but I was only like 5 or 6 at the time. It just shows you how it brainwashed. Why didn't they have shows where they were teaching math or something? You know, it'd be cool to actually remember something from that long ago that had meaning. Right? Like, seeing a magic flute doesn't do anything. Yeah. And to buy a lunchbox. Yeah, that's right. Remember the lunchbox? Oh yeah, and what was the other one that had? God, there was something. Yeah, Land of the Lost was kind of cool. Seemed like there was one with dinosaurs in it though. I think that was Land of the Lost. There was lunch pails with that. Yep, Mr. Rogers. Yep, I remember that one. I guess there's a movie coming out about Mr. Rogers. Believe it or not. Yeah, Lady Elaine was creepy, wasn't she? Yeah. Up in that castle. Wow. There was always something so... Mr. Rogers was just weird to me. You know? There was something... It was just weird watching him. The show would always start where he came in with his dress shoes on. Then he took off the dress shoes and put on these really comfortable looking sneakers and a sweater. And then he just started doing his thing. But I almost want to see that movie because usually those are sort of based on how things were. Yeah, they're not sure what kind of... Is that what those were called, the shoes? Yeah, and then Captain Kangaroo came on, and he would be on there sometimes. Like Captain Kangaroo would show up on Mr. Rogers. I think that's how he got his start. I mean, wow. Talk about bowl cut, right? Remember Mr. Rogers? He had that straight line of hair right across his forehead. Wow. But who didn't back then, I guess? No, I'm talking about... I meant to say Captain Kangaroo if I didn't say that. Let's see. So for those of you who've never seen Captain Kangaroo, there he is right there, okay? I mean, they didn't take any time there. They just went, okay, bull and cut, okay? All right. Nah, I never saw Magic Garden. Huh. Yeah, cool. All right. Well, anyways, it's 12 o'clock now, so I am going to end the show and go to sleep. Yeah, he does. Definitely looks like that, Cairo. Never really sure how that one ended. Yeah, that's right, Bozo. Yeah. Sesame Street was pretty big too, but that's still going on. I think Sesame Street's still out there. All right, everybody. So let me thank some people here. Now I don't know. It doesn't say at the end of the show about the. Well, it does say it in this other sheet that I've got. So let me go back to that in a minute. But thank you to Shay44 coming. This is 1:39 a.m. this morning. And 3:08 this morning, and 5:01 this morning, they became members. 2 Freakazoids and 1 Megazoid. And then Claudia Neubauer became a member tonight at 8:46. Then we got a super chat from Casmarine Curios. And then Crystal, a.k.a. Beaver Gaming Sub Crystal, became a new member. And then Claudia Neubauer, Super Chat. Eric E, Super Chat, thank you. Bush and Beach Lifestyle, Super Chat. Dottie Caspian Horses Rock, Super Chat. And then Eric E became a member. And so did Don Tetaton. Not sure if I'm saying that right. And then we have Amanda Belg with a mask. Twice, and then Cairo with the mask, and then Amanda Belg donated $2 to say, hey Gray, put your face out there, I want to put a mask on it. And then another $2 saying the same thing, I guess. And then Cairo again for on these are all on Streamlabs. So thank you guys very much. Appreciate it. Very cool, man. Yeah, it's going to be cool when there's a lag time on membership, so that there'll be some people that have Chloe, some people have Blue. I'm going to change the ones that come after that, though. I don't really like what I have. I might actually put serial killers in there. You know, because it's just sort of what it is. Oh my God, have you reached the Jeffrey Dahmer level yet? Hey, no problem, Tammy. I hope you guys thought that was interesting, and I did want to, put the real talk in there about the, what was going on in the Broussard case. I still want to have all the facts at some point of what actually happened at the end. How it all went down. Hopefully she cuts a deal and, does but has to come and say what happened. Hopefully she gets a minimum of 25 years. And then she's up. Because I know that's how it's going to play out. They're going to say she had some weird mental issues and da-da-da-da-da-da. And they're going to try to get her off on some really cheap thing. So I hope it's a minimum of 25 years. But in reality, she deserves life in prison without parole. Okay? I don't want her to ever have a child, though. So if you can move it out way past, how old is she? Was it like 30? Yeah, so make it so she's in her 60s. Oh yeah, you want to see Blue and Chloe together in one of them? Maybe I'll put them together in the third one. All right, cool, everybody. So thank you all for showing up tonight. Hey, let's do the, we're going to do a flyby, though. Whoa, God. Is that really like that? A big hole in the ground right there? Look at that. Wow. That can't be right. That thing would turn into a pond every year. I'm just going to go back out to Central. I'm not even going to ask. It's always over here that's cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to just pick a spot, zoom in, and oh, cool. We can fly around in the. Don't even know where it is. Get rid of that, and now it should get rid of all the overlapping maps. Maybe. I actually kind of like what it looked like before, though. That's probably, what is that? Yeah, let's do this, whatever that is. Yeah, I saw Cairo's finger wound. It did draw blood. It's not something you would rush to the hospital for, but Good night, freaks. Yeah, it sounded like one of those Decepticons. And all of humanity. Oh, this is snowy. My eyes hurt looking at it. Hey, no problem. Casey Moe. Do you like the Dennis Radar one, Cairo? It's pretty obvious, right? Well, I like it as well as I could like any other serial killer, but sure. What the hell is that? Hey, love you too, Sass Man. Sass Man. People live there. Crazy. You know, there's some of those weird places in the world that people actually live. It's just mind-boggling. I mean, whoever lives right on that little volcano lives absolutely near nobody. But I mean, this is the only place on Earth, like right that angle, where you almost can't see any land whatsoever. Like about like that. Look at that. And then right in the middle of that, there's probably some land somewhere. Yeah, like right there. Look at that. It's crazy. I mean, what the hell do you do out here? You know? And look there's houses on that damn thing. Really? Wow. Crazy. So anyways, hey, thank you guys all for staying up tonight, watching the show again, and contributing, whether by hanging out or super chats or anyway, becoming channel members, Patreon. Really appreciate all the recent, you guys have been support all the time, but it's really cool, all the members, and I've even added a bunch of people to Patreon, which is really cool. So hopefully we can keep that going and keep upping the donations. Because I'm going to donate to EquiSearch coming up. All right. Okay, everybody. Thank you very much. And oh yeah, you guys can see Chloe curled up in a ball there with some weird lighting effect on her. But that's it for the show tonight. Thank you all for showing up. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.